Alright, review for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So just watched this and yeah, I think it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'd say I probably do think it's the best out of the three. Just kind of for the simple fact that and not counting Jim Carrey, but the human characters, there's less of them in this one. They focus on, all the hedgehogs, on Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and now Shadow, voiced by Keanu Reeves. I thought he did a great job. And of course, Dr. Robotnik is Jim Carrey. I don't even count him as human, I guess. But Jim Carrey returns. He does a great job as usual. No complaints there. He's definitely the funniest thing in the movie. I think he's the best thing in the movie. And there's two of them now because there's the older version of him, which is his grandfather, and there's him. So I like that. And, no offense to the two people that are the human characters. But, you're here to see Sonic, you're here to see Knuckles and Tails and Shadow and Dr. Robotnik. So I like that they kind of streamlined that. I thought that was a wise choice. And I actually liked the whole plot behind Shadow. I thought that's kind of the emotional core of the movie. I thought there was some actual emotion, and I know it's like contrived and it's a kid's movie and stuff, but I thought it was pretty good for what they were trying to do. So I liked that. And I thought that Sonic actually, when James Marsden was in it, at least they used it to kind of build the emotion with Sonic, because he's basically his father figure. And I thought they used that really well. So at least when James Marsden was in it, it was at least, I think, used very wisely. So it's directed by the same guy. He does a great job again. This guy directed some movie like in 2004 I've never heard of. And then he didn't direct for till 2020 when he made Sonic the Hedgehog. So I wonder what he's gonna do after this. I know this made 400, like it's so far about 430 million. So I know that they're gonna maybe make another one. There's some hints to that. And this is spoilers on this, but I don't think there's much to spoil. But yeah, and there's a lot of witty lines. I think the humor's pretty good. It's not the funniest movie I've ever seen, but I liked it. And it's been a while since I've watched Sonic 1 and 2, but I thought this one was a little funnier. Because like I said, I think they streamlined the plot. And I like the addition of Shadow, because he creates a problem for Sonic that he and even his two allies can't fight, because he can transport everywhere. He's stronger than them. In the end, he has to get the green emerald so that he basically, becomes Super Saiyan Goku or something. And basically, that's like what happens in the end when they're fighting, which is a pretty good fight. I mean, it is a lot of CGI, but I mean, how else are you gonna do that? But yeah, there's like some good lines, like "Get out of my way, Dorcupine." Knuckles, there is no such thing as a friendly ghost. There's a lot of 90s references. There's a reference to Speed, a reference to Casper. There's even a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey when they're on the moon. Definitely a reference to 2001 with the shot, just the visual of the moon and the shots there. And then Jim Carrey about "Yes, I Know French." I thought that was pretty funny with him and his grandfather. The line with Jim Carrey at the end when he's saying like to it, that his character, that's his friend. You were more than a sycophant to me. You were a sicko friend. Thought that was pretty funny. So there's some good dialogue in the movie, or lines in the movie, which I liked. There's some good action scenes. There is, I would say, kind of a core of a heart in the movie. So overall, yeah, I've really liked it, and how the grandfather of Jim Carrey has basically just gone totally insane, and he just hates humanity in the end. And now he's even too evil for Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey. The younger version is confusing, but I like that. Like, even in the end of the movie, the normal Dr. Robotnik is able to defeat the grandfather, Dr. Robotnik, with Sonic's help, and Knuckles and Tails, and he's even given a send-off where, what does he say? He's like, well, if I can't rule the earth, then I might as well save it. And I thought that was a nice little moment for him, because he says he's going to retire now after this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to bring him back, though. I could definitely see that, because in the end of the movie, there's even a hint of things to come. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not sure you can have these movies without Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik. I'm not sure it works, really. So, I could see him returning. And, but yeah, I liked that Jim Carrey's like, wait, so you want to destroy the whole Earth? Like, he's like, but we could just rule it. And then, the grandfather's like, no, it's, these humans have let you down. There's nothing there. And he's just like, you're too crazy even for me. So yeah, so I like that. It's got the same visual look as the first two. It has the same kind of playful tone and music as the first two. I like the outfits that they're wearing at the end, where the grandfather's in this white outfit, Jim Carrey's in this red one. That really reminded me of the video games. Even with the grandfather, he's a little more overweight. Reminds me of the video games, because obviously the video games, Dr. Robotnik is really fat. So I like that. There's a lot of references. I wasn't familiar with Shadow, but apparently in the video games there is Shadow and Maria are a thing, like an important part of his character. So I mean, some fans like that. I'm not familiar with that at all, but so that's nice for the fans, And definitely the stuff with Maria, I thought, I mean, you could say it's contrived, but I don't know. I think for like a family movie, there's actually some emotion there, and you kind of feel empathy, and you kind of feel for Shadow a little bit. So yeah, and Keanu Reeves does a great job as Shadow. The opening fight's pretty cool because it's in Japan, and obviously this is Sega. It's created by the Japanese, so that's a nice reference also. They're in Tokyo. He's destroying Tokyo. Maybe kind of a reference to Godzilla too, really. And then you got him on the bike. So yeah, I thought it was a fun time. I'm not sure if they'll make another one, but so according to the director Jeff Fowler, Keanu Reeves did research on Shadow the Hedgehog because he wanted to create a faithful version of the character. The sequence of Dr. Robotnik getting his head shaved that was pretty funny because he's sitting there and he's all overweight and fat, and he's watching these cheesy Spanish soap operas, and you know, that part, I don't know, I didn't find him that funny, and they kind of cut away to them for a while, and I'm like, okay, I don't really care about that, I don't really need that. There's also like a part where Jim Carrey looks at the camera and basically is saying, you know, there's two of us, it's almost like we're in a movie and we're being played by the same actor, and yeah, I think I could have done without that too. Like, you don't have to look at the camera. Like, we get it, you're two characters that are played by one actor, because it is a movie. But when he's getting his head shaved, as Jim Carrey stated, it took 1.5 years for him to grow out his hair, and had actor Lee Mad Job Agent Stone cut his hair. Wow, so that's really his hair. Okay. Wow. That's dedication. And it seems like Jim Carrey really is enjoying being in these movies. I mean, I know he's getting paid tons of money, so that helps, right? But, because yeah, if you look at the last years of Jim Carrey, he did some Saturday Night Live, but I don't count that really as, you know, a movie or anything. Verizon, so he did a commercial for Verizon. Goodbye Cable Guy. Really? Wow, he did a Cable Guy reference, which I actually like. Cable Guy. I know some people hate that movie. I think that movie's funny. He did an FM experience, The Weekend. I don't know what that is. The Weekend, Out of Time. I don't know, is that like a music video? So really, and he did a TV series called Kidding. Jeff, a famous children's icon, struggles to retain his sanity as his family falls apart. Okay, so he really hasn't done almost anything since the 2020 movie Sonic the Hedgehog. And apparently he says, after 2, he was like, I'm gonna retire. But then he's like, I'll make an exception and I'll do 3, finish off the trilogy. So, you know, he definitely likes doing the character, and for me, it's the best thing that he's done in a long time. Because I did not like Dumb and Dumber 2. I hated that movie. I really hate that movie. Because the first Dumb and Dumber is one of the funniest movies I think ever made. And Dumb and Dumber 2 is just such a disgrace. So yeah, I'd say it's the best thing he's done in like 15, 20 years, playing Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movies. So yeah, this is in the trivia. Following the release of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Jim Carrey announced that he was considering retirement and said he would only return to acting if Angels bring some sort of script that's written in gold ink that says to me it's going to be really important for people to see. The producer said that Carrey's role as Dr. Robotnik would not be recast if he followed through with his plans. Yeah, you can't recast it. There's no way. I mean, he was born to play that role, but remained hopeful that he would be willing to continue the role if the script was satisfactory to him. They would eventually send him a script for his film, printed it out with a 24-karat ink. That's funny. And they really did that. In February 2024, he was confirmed to reprise his role, making it the first time Carrey has starred in more than 2 films as the same character. Right. I mean, yeah, he's like, you know, born to play the role. It just seems like it's his old self back, you know, in the 90s and early 2000s when, you know, Carrey was just like on fire. I mean, he was so funny. The filmmakers of the prior movies have mentioned playing both Sonic Adventures 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog game for inspiration. Because of the Christmas time release, several digital posters were created for the film. Yeah, I saw that. Mimicking the posters for famous films set at Christmas Christmas Vacation, Love Actually, A Christmas Story, Elf, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The Home Alone one was funny, and so was the Christmas Vacation one, because it's Jim Carrey being electrocuted like on the cover of Christmas Vacation. Director Jeff Fowler explained his reasoning behind the exclusion of others from the series. I think we're all very focused on Shadow. When you have a cast that's already of this size, yeah, that'd be hard to do, because it's a pretty big cast. There's 4 CG characters in this movie. You want to be careful not to throw too many in the mix. Shadow's backstory is so important that we have to get it right. Those elements are within the Sonic movie, so it really has to be balanced. Everything story-wise need to be in proper proportion. And then also adding Gerald Robotnik obviously into a mix. So very quickly your screen real estate shrinks as you bring in these interesting characters, and you want to do interesting things with them and give them story arcs. As Fowler points out, it was important for them to get Shadow's backstory right, so adding more characters in the mix would detract from what we've essentially setting up throughout the last 2 movies. As for the storytelling aspect of the movie, Fowler notes that this careful choosing of which characters to include has been his philosophy since the first film. What served us really well in these films, I think this slow, purposeful rollout. Going back to movie 1, it was just Sonic and Robotnik. We started so simple, and then we just kind of taking our time and bringing the characters in one by one and making sure that we do a great job with telling their stories. I think that's always been the best blueprint. I'd agree. For a number of years, Keanu Reeves had been frequently put forward when suggesting a big screen voice for Shadow, even before the development and release of the first Sonic the Hedgehog film. The casting finally became a reality when the character's introduction in the film. Even better than Sonic X Shadow Generations, the movie version of Shadow appears as a downloadable content. Yeah, that's, I guess, for a game, but yeah, Tom blows into a USB just like kids used to blow Nintendo cartridges to clear dust. He even says an old 90s trick. Yeah, I noticed that. There's a lot of references like that. First film in the series to be released in IMAX worldwide. To commemorate the film becoming the #1 movie in America for its debut weekend, the official Instagram account for the film posted a reaction of the Dreamcast version box art, which serves as the page image. Sonic says Keanu Reeves is his favorite actor in Sonic 1. When they are watching the movie Speed, Keanu is the voice of Shadow in Sonic 3. Sonic says Keanu is his favorite actor in Sonic 1 when they're watching the movie Speed. Oh, okay, they actually show the movie Speed in the first movie. Yeah, following Sonic's collision with Shadow, Sonic references the amount of energy as 1.21 gigawatts. This is a reference for the amount of energy required, in Back to the Future. So, but yeah, I really liked it. I think it's a funny movie with some heart, and I enjoyed it. If you do me a favor and smash that like button, that'd be great. It really helps the channel. When Shadow first wakes up and takes out the gun soldiers, it recreates some identical shots from the CG opening of the game Shadow the Hedgehog, where he does the same. Okay, so there's a game that just focuses on Shadow. See, I've never played that, but apparently Maria's in that game, or Maria's part of the story of Shadow in the games too, so... Shadow is seen driving a motorcycle exactly as he can in his titular game. It even has a similar design. He is also seen grabbing a gun that he shoots at Sonic with. Robotnik gaining weight and being fat like his game counterpart was planned as far back as the second movie, with one explanation being that he would get an allergic reaction from eating some of the mushrooms on the mushroom planet and swell up. Instead, the first trailer for 3 shows that Robotnik got a fat because he's been overeating junk food after his loss to Sonic and friends at the end of 2. Yeah. Shadow removes his inhibitor rings to gain enough power to stop the Eclipse cannon from destroying Earth, just like in Sonic X, which the first came up with the which first came up with the inhibitor rings. But yeah, I think it's about it though. Check it out. I definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the first two. I can't see why you wouldn't like this one. I would probably say I think this is the best one, probably. So, but yeah, that's about it.